Ivan Katz here today at Burgess Park in Marsten's Mills, Massachusetts on Cape Cod, playing this course today, telling you what I throw, why I throw it, and taking you through a fun round of disc golf. Let's get started. Number 3, par 3, downhill and then uphill. Lots of trees in the way. Interesting shot. Let's see what we can do. Nice throw there, and I'm pretty much basket high and right in line with the basket. But a lot of people will let things like this intimidate them. Simple. Don't look at it. If you look either here or through here, and you can make that gap, you know, you don't have to worry about this tree. Your body and your mind will make the disc go where you want it to go. If you just concentrate on the areas that you want to throw in, the areas that you don't, avoid. Okay, the Crank SS thrown out, concentrating on that tree right in the middle of your shot, blocking things, just where you want the disc to go and then make it go there. Crank SS, staple of my bag. Love these discs. They certainly make weaker arms feel strong because it's an understable disc. Understable meaning if you throw it with right hand, forehand flick, you can get it to turn over. Actually, this one's pretty stable. If you throw it flat, it'll stay flat. Maybe a little bit of a turnover. So right hand, backhand, understable would be flippy this way. And this is Anheuser. This is Heiser. Heiser, Anheuser. So again, you can steer these discs around the trees and through the course the way you want to. Two putters I use are my Judge and my 86 putter. I definitely recommend using something like the Judge where you can get a bunch of them. This one is pretty old disc. It's 30 years old and pretty tough to get. So you use something that everybody else is throwing, buy 5 of them and practice with it. The Judge. Love it. On to the next one. Number 4, 250 feet, starting from here. So you've got a bit of a dog leg left with a pretty tight fairway, certainly up front here, and then trees on the right and left, of course. Okay, the SBK Lightning Discs D4, a new disc in my bag, and got me about maybe 30 feet from the basket and inside of 10 meters, 33 feet. You cannot jump when you putt outside. Circle 2, which is up to 66 feet and beyond, of course you can jump when you putt. Okay, so the SBK Lightning D4, new to my bag, and always like to try out new discs. Throw them in a field. That's a good way to get acquainted with them without any trees around. And my trusty Judge putter. On to the next one. Number 5, pretty straightforward. Skinny fairway with a little dog leg right. Okay, number 5, Crank SS. Pretty stable until a nice fade at the end. Kept me in line with the basket, a nice straight throw, and then the putt with the Judge. A word about my disc golf videos. I'm throwing multiple discs out here. These are not true rounds. Doesn't mean I don't get birdies, and doesn't mean I don't get aces sometimes, but this is a very difficult sport. You're not going to come out here and get birdies, even pars every time. You get aces, just keep playing. But again, I'm throwing multiple discs, and this is a very, very tough sport. If you're out here and you're shooting 75, try to shoot a 74 next round. No big deal. This is a great sport because you can play and compete against yourself. All right, on to the next one. Number 6, 295 feet straight down. Huh. Not great. Let's see if I can save that one. Okay, so started that one off with the Halo Air, and it tends to be a nice straight disc for me. I didn't really throw it very hard, it faded too much, but I was able to get around the trees with the SBK Lightning Dauntless. This is a cool disc. I've had one of these since the dark ages of disc golf, back in the 80s, and just like the D4, it has ridges inside of it. So the D4 tends to be a nice straight thrower. This one is called the hook shot. Hook shot number 1, I think they call it. So you can throw it with some hyzer and get it to curve around trees and things like that. It's a great approach disc. I like it, and got me real close for the easy putt in with my 86 putter. On to the next one. Number 7 is a tough shot. All the way down here through some trees, but it's also an uphill shot. So you're starting here, throwing up through here, and then down there to the left, 305 feet. Very tough. Okay, so the Valkyrie got me straight up and through the path there, and well on the way to the basket, but still probably I don't know, 120, 130. Okay, the Valkyrie, and then not a traditional Halo Air approach shot, because I don't have the right-hand backhand that most of you guys have. It's pretty terrible. So sometimes I will do a long approach like that with a distance driver, give it some anhyzer, let it straighten out. I've made many long birdies like that with distance driver. So don't worry about what your friends are throwing. Just because Paul McBeth can throw something perfectly doesn't mean you can. Play to your own strengths, throw the discs that you want to throw. If you're not turning these discs over, throw something more understable. That's the 3rd number. First number is speed. The lower the number, the easier to throw. Second number is glide. The higher the number, the more the wind will take it. And the 3rd number, stability, turn. Negatives will turn over. And anything positive or 0 somewhere in there is going to be a stable disc. So throw what works for you, go out into a field and figure it out, and you will improve quickly at this game. Don't throw too much disc. You can't get a 9 or 10 or 11 to turn over. Throw a 6, 7, or 8. Number 8, 240 feet. Downhill there at the end, but it's a little bit uphill to start. So kind of an interesting shot. Let's do it. Okay, so crank SS, my go-to disc, and then the Judge putter. On to the next one. Number 9, uphill. Not extremely far, but throwing uphill makes everything farther. Okay, so the King, which is a hyzer flip, kind of S-curve disc. Hyzer flip is when you throw a disc on a hyzer and it flips up. This is one of those main discs that does that, my Ace Race disc. It can be thrown on a hyzer real hard. Remember, you want to throw these discs as hard as you can, get them to do what they're designed to do. And this one is designed to turn over and go right at your target. So, hyzer, flip. But the King here is an S-curve disc. In other words, you start with a hyzer, it's very flippy, so it'll turn over and then usually S-curve out. Now when I'm throwing uphill with the King, I've noticed that just kind of meets the hill and gets me kind of straight up there. So that's why I use it on this hill. And then I was able to make the birdie putt with the Ace Race Salt. Love this disc. Become a main staple of my bag, as is the King. So experiment with different discs. Don't throw what your friends are throwing, as I've said, and just throw what works for you. Beautiful course right next to the water. I don't see that they use the water too much, but it is right next to you, so you can always just escape and get a nice water view, which is always good. Nice and relaxing too, especially if your round is going terribly. 10 is a beast of a long hole. Not sure the measurement, but there's the tee pad back there, and this tree's kind of everywhere. There's no real fairway, maybe straight through this way, but you're kind of faced with trees any way you go, so I guess you just try to get it as far down as you can. I'm a little confused because there's a couple baskets, but I think it's not this one. I think it's this one over here, right here. And it's a long, far way with lots of trees in the way. So very tough shot. There's a Mando. You're not allowed to go on the other side of this tree here. I think some people might try to sneak it around and interfere with the other fairways, so they make that a Mando. What's a Mando, you say? Well, it's mandatory. Usually there's a tree or some sort of marker, and it says you have to throw on a certain side of it. So, mandatory. That's what that means. Quick tip, make sure you write your name and number on your discs. I found a disc today and got it back to its owner, and he said it was his favorite disc. Feels good when you find a disc and give it back to the person. Don't just take it. It's got a phone number on it. Try to reach the owner and get it back to them. Text them. I texted him a picture of it. So he ran right over and got it. He was very happy. Also, make sure you bring a towel. Could be wet out there. You could be dealing with water hazards, so bring a towel. And something to drink also. Plus, count your discs to make sure you know how many you brought so you can bring them all home. Nice S-curve. Got me the distance for at least a decent approach shot to the basket, and man, just through a lot of trees here. So good shot, stayed on the fairway, and still a ways to go though. Okay, so wrapping up number 10, the King. Got me started off. Some hyzer, flip, and then S-curve out. The ideal pattern for super long distance. Although, again, my max distance is probably 265 these days. It was 300, it's been dropping, unfortunately. But less on a disc golf course when you're staring at all the trees and everything. But this is called a Cobra. It's a very old one. It says Whammo on it. I'll show you close up. May 16, 17, 1998. I believe they call these Ontario molds. I found it used on the internet. I lost my favorite Cobra. Check out my video about the Cobra elsewhere on YouTube. I was able to just basically flick that disc at any angle and it would stay and go straight. And this one is the best replacement I've found for it. To me, sometimes the older the plastic, the more straight flying and just broken in these discs are. Even though it's DX plastic, hopefully it'll hold together and keep being a new staple of my bag. I love this disc. So I just threw it, a little hyzer, straightened out and went right at the basket, even past the basket, and then the putt with my equally old 86 putter. On to the next one. Number 11 across the field, a Super Bomber, 440 feet. Okay, I threw a couple. There's the Crank SS roller, not too shabby. And then probably a hair more distance on the King here because of the S curve, but a little more to the left. Pretty much equal throws. Okay, so two drivers, Crank SS, the King, and then the approach shots with the Ace Race Sol and the Valkyrie, and putted it with the Judge and the 86. Number 12, 315 feet. Just a little trouble here up front and then right by the basket, but everything else is open. Okay, Crank SS, wrong flat, and the Cobra turnover disc, and the putt with the 86. 13, about 300 feet, up and down. Pretty tough shot, but fun though. Okay, halo air, nice disc, stays, fights, and then fades. Stable to overstable, so nice fade at the end for the nice easy putt. Well, not super easy with the dart. 240 foot, par 3. Halo air and dart. On to the next one. Kind of tricky here because there's a lot of trees. There's the tee right there. So you got to get through all this stuff along the way. Okay, the vision is a vision. It's really, really good. Latitude 64 vision. And it's a disc I can throw with a lot of hyzer. It turns up and then stays and then fades a little bit. Beautiful disc. Got me right next to the basket here. Because it can turn over, I gave it a lot of hyzer to make sure it didn't turn over that much and then faded. So it was perfect. And then the 86 putter. On to the next one. Number 16, 335 feet. Long way down. A little bit of a dog leg left too. Number 16, Crank SS, my go-to disc, and then quite a long putt with the Judge. On to the next one. Number 17, big dog leg left, a lot of trees along the way, and you start from here, so interesting left-hand throw. Tough with the forehand flick. Let's see what I can do. Okay, so started off with the Avenger SS, which is a nice hyzer flip. Can be an S-curve disc too. Turns over and S is out, and you saw I threw it kind of off to the right there, but still it turned over and started heading left. Sometimes you can sell that left turn a little bit with your follow through. You follow through left, the disc will tend to turn left a little bit more. But just let the discs do what they do. In other words, just turn over. Maybe a little help with that extra follow through. The approach with my Ace Race Sol and basic drop-in putt with my 86 putter. Looks like the last one is just a bomber straight down the field and 400 feet. My max distance is probably 275 maybe these days. On this course, probably 220, 230. So that's a far away from me. Let's see what I can do. Well, certainly not a pretty putt to finish up number 18 there, but got the job done. Started with a roller. Now this is an understable disc, the Discraft Express, so I threw it with not exactly straight up and down, but a little bit of less anhyzer here than flat. Not a straight up tomahawk, but a little less anhyzer right there. And just gave it a nice little snap with my wrist there and got me along down the fairway with a nice approach shot here with the D4 and then the ugly putt at the end with my Discraft saw. Well, thanks for watching this round here at Burgess Park, Marston's Mills, Massachusetts. Hope you've enjoyed it, and of course check out all of my other disc golf videos. I play everywhere, travel, I try to play a course and throw it up on YouTube, so check out all my videos. Throwing in the field, doing disc golf reviews of discs like the Valkyrie, the Crank SS, and many other of your favorite discs like the Destroyer and the Wraith. So check those out elsewhere on YouTube as well. If you like cars, just Google any car, like the Porsche 911 and Drivin Ivan. That's me, and you'll see my car reviews. I've got a video that I just did of an original song called Free Your Mind, and I have my guitar collection in there if you like vintage guitars. You'll definitely get a kick out of that video. It has a lot of my car collection in it as well. So again, Google Drivin Ivan and any car if you like cars. Check out my disc golf videos and music videos where I play all the instruments, literal video for Chris Isaac's Wicked Game, my podcast, What Makes a Car Special. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram and subscribe and share my videos. I'm Ivan Katz.